All right, hey, fourth grade, moving on with chapter 3. We are skipping lesson 2, or chapter 3. Goodness gracious, Miss Stevenson meant chapter 11. We're doing lesson 3 today, and we're skipping over lesson 2 because this one's a little bit more important. So today we're going to talk about measuring angles, and we're going to be using a protractor, which is just this tool right here that is used for measuring the size of an angle. All right, so we're going to be figuring out how many degrees, which is the measurement that we use for angles, how many degrees these angles are using this protractor. All right, so there's a very specific way to use a protractor, and I'm going to do the best I can to show you how to use one online. Okay, so when we are looking at a protractor, there are two sets of numbers. There are the set of numbers that go on the inside, and it goes from 10 to 170 degrees. And then there's numbers that go from the outside, and it also goes all the way to 180 degrees, which is this straight line right here, because we know that straight angles are 180 degrees. So there's that straight angle down there at the bottom, and then everything in between on there as well. Now, the reason that there are two sets of numbers is because sometimes, like this one, angles open up this way. So we would use the bottom set of numbers when it opens up to the left. And then sometimes there's angles like this that open up to the right, and we would have to use the outside numbers. All right, so when you are trying to find the measurement of an angle, if you look here at a protractor, there's this little hole right here. You see it where my finger's underneath of it? And you're going to take that hole and you're going to place it right on the vertex of your angle. And you're going to do the best you can. You see this line right here where that 180 degrees is. You're going to do the best you can to take that vertex and then take that line and line it up with your angle. Do you see how, I'm going to turn this light off so maybe it won't reflect off of it. Do you see how that line is here? And then when I move it in line with my angle, now it's disappeared. All right, so now what we're going to do is sometimes we might need to extend that line to kind of figure out where it goes. So we are opening up to the left, which means we're going to use this inside set of numbers. Now, just by looking at this angle, we know that this is what kind of angle? Acute or obtuse? Right, this is obtuse, which means we know it is going to be greater than 90 degrees. So when we look here, we know that it makes more sense to use this inside set of numbers because it's probably closer to these degrees than it is to the 50 or 60, because we know that then it would have to be an acute angle. So I'm going to go ahead and take my angle, this part here, and I'm going to extend it just a little bit so that it meets the protractor better. Okay. All right. So I'm going to line this back up. Vertex goes in that hole. That 180 degree line matches up with my line here. And when I look here on this protractor, I've got 120 degrees, 21, 22, 23, 24. So this angle is 124 degrees. And that little tiny circle right up there up top is our degree mark. All right, let's try another one. All right, look at number 2. What type of angle is this before we get started? Right, this is an acute angle. And we know that acute angles are less than 90 degrees. So that's going to help us when we're looking at these two sets of numbers to figure out which number set we're going to have to use. All right, so same thing. I'm going to go ahead and take this top line of my angle, and I'm going to extend it out a little bit further so that it can meet my protractor at a better spot. I'm going to take the hole. I'm going to make sure it's lined up with the vertex. Take the 180 degree line and make sure it is lined up with the bottom part of my angle, just like that. See how it goes? And it's disappeared with it. There we go. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to, so I've got two numbers here. Am I going to use these inside numbers where it says that's 140 degrees? Definitely not, okay? Definitely not going to use that set of numbers. So I know that because it's opening up to the right, I'm going to be using this outside set of numbers. So when I come here and I take my line that I've drawn up, we've got 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38 degrees is where it matches up. So this is a 38-degree angle. Starting to make sense? It'd be easier if you were here and you could actually use the protractor to measure, but this is the best we can do for right now. So we are going to work with it. But on your assignment, you will see pictures of protractors with angles, so you're going to have to know how to read those still. All right, last one, number 3. Let's look at it. First things first, what kind of angle is this? Acute, obtuse, or right? Very good. This is our wide mouth angle. So this is obtuse. And we know that obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees. So we know that that number is going to have to be higher than this. It opens up to the left, which means we're going to be using the inside set of numbers. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take my angle, the top part. I'm going to extend that line out so it's easier to use my protractor. All right. Go ahead and take that hole, line it up with the vertex. Make sure that 180-degree line lines up with the bottom part of our angle. And then I'm going to look right here and see where that line comes, okay? And I've got, let's see, this is 140, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So this angle is 146 degrees. All right, boys and girls, that is it. That is how you read a protractor. It's good to know that whether or not your angle is acute or obtuse, because that's going to help you know which numbers make sense. It would not make sense to take this angle measurement here and use the outside row and say that it was 46 degrees. That is not a 46-degree angle. We know that's an obtuse and it's got to be greater than 90. So make sure that when you are reading your protractors on your assignment, that you are reading the correct row of numbers, whether it be the outside or inside, to make sure you have the most accurate measurement for your angle. All right, guys, I hope that made as much sense as it can virtually. I will have some review for you tomorrow on both yesterday's assignments and today's, and then we will have some new lessons on Thursday. So I will see you then.